Our electric bill went from $65 up to $400 per month.
It is not possible.
Just because we forgot to ask one important question. If you're apartment hunting in Canada, Ontario, you should know those 7 hidden traps that can cost you $1,000. I'm Hannah, a newcomer in Canada who rented 3 apartments in 3 years. And in this video, I want to share with you something that I wish I had known before I signed my first lease. Mistake number 1, not asking what exactly is included in the rent price. Always ask the landlord or somebody who shows you the unit what is exactly included in the rent price. In most cases, I found, based on my experience and when I see the advertisements, that water bill and heating bill is included inside the rent, and hydro bill, whoever doesn't know, it's electricity bill in Ontario, in Canada, it is a separate bill that has to be covered by the person. And electricity in Ontario is not a cheap thing. So that's something that you should budget as well. But knowing that hydro bill is usually covered by a tenant is one thing. But what is the heating source? That's another thing that brings us to mistake number 2. Mistake number 2, always ask what is the heating source in your unit. That's the mistake that got us, and that's where we were screwed for thousands of dollars. Canada apartments in Ontario, you can have different kinds of heating sources. It could be hot water radiators, or it could be a gas furnace, or it could be an electric baseboard. So imagine our surprise when the first winter month comes. We're like, okay, let's open our electric baseboards, whatever. Let's open it. It's cold, and then we receive our hydro bill, and it jumped from $65 up to $400. I was in shock because it was like, wait.
Yeah, wait.
When we signed the contract, our heating and electric baseboards are used for heating were covered by our rent. I started to have this conversation with the landlord. We had a lot of emails just throwing at each other. And I was sure that I was right, and I even wanted to go to the court for it and so on, because I felt like I was completely deceived, because in my rent it's written that I'm only covering hydro and heating has to be covered by a landlord. And then she was saying, okay, but electric baseboards fall under hydro because they're electric, so you have to cover them. My intake from this problem is never ever rent a house or unit that has electric baseboards. Never. Always ask about that. And if you see that hydro is not included and you have electric baseboards in the unit, you're just going to end up with a very huge bill for almost 5-6 months. Mistake number 3, not checking the noise level at the right time. Always be sure that you are scheduling your viewing at around 5 p.m. or more than 5 p.m. because that's the time when everybody is at home, children are back from school, so you can check exactly how good soundproofing system is in the unit. That was one mistake that I've done. I didn't catch one thing that was in my second apartment that we moved in, that we had neighbors upstairs, and those neighbors had a child. And since it was a house unit, so soundproofing system basically didn't exist that much. And we were stuck for 1 year hearing child's tantrums, cries, not wanting to go to school every day starting from 6 a.m. I got used to it after some time, but I was very happy to move out from that apartment after 1 year. That's a very important thing to do as well. You should always check the soundproofing, because if you are signing the lease and then you are living in the apartment where the neighbors upstairs have a child, a big dog, or I don't know, they are dancing maybe, and you hear them pretty noisy every day, you can basically complain, because there is like a law that you could not make noise starting from like 10 p.m. up to 7 a.m. So after 7 a.m., they have a full right to have their dance session, or the child can run around the apartment. There is nothing you can do with that. In order not to be stuck in the apartment for 1 year where soundproofing sucks, always come and check the apartment at 5 p.m. or later. Mistake number 4, not asking for the actual hydro bill. You can always ask a landlord or somebody who shows you the apartment what is the approximate hydro bill in comparison between January and July. They cannot provide for you actual bill because it's a confidential information from the tenants with their name and information, but they have to know approximately what is the range in a hydro bill in winter month and in summer month. It's important for you to know why, because hydro bill is expensive in Canada, electricity is expensive in Ontario. For you, you should know what would be the average bill you're gonna pay above your rent already, yes? So be sure that you ask it so you at least have some idea on how much you're gonna pay extra for hydro bill above your rent. Mistake number 5, not checking sun exposure. Always check what side of the unit faces the sun, especially if you are trying to look at the units that are at the high floor. Southern Ontario summers can get very, very hot and humid. And it's important when you are checking the unit on the high floor that it gets the sun exposure from morning till the noon and it is shaded afternoon, not the reverse. We made this mistake. We got apartment, our first apartment in Ontario in Hamilton at 16th floor, and whole apartment was shaded from morning to noon, and then it was getting sun exposure from afternoon till sunset. It was the worst combination for the summer heat. Also note that many older units or older apartments do not have AC or a centralized AC system. So when you're choosing the apartment, be sure that you're grabbing the one that is shaded starting from afternoon. Mistake number 6, not asking about in-suite laundry. Many units and condos in Ontario, Canada do not have in-suite laundry. They don't have a washer or dryer, whatever, in the unit. You should know that many buildings, they can have a laundry facility in the building. So you're sharing washers and dryers with other tenants of the building. First of all, it's very inconvenient and time consuming. I've rented my first apartment and I was sharing laundry with all the building. So first of all, you have to go 3 times up and down just to have one laundry cycle. Second of all, you have to spend around $5-6 for having one laundry cycle. So it adds extra money for your apartment rent. And that's something that's very important to know, that when you see how much you pay for rent, that's rent. And then you don't realize how many things come up, like laundry you have to pay, hydro bill you have to pay, internet you have to pay. It's important to be sure that you're asking about that. Maybe it's not that important for you to have in-suite laundry, but if you have children, believe me, that's a headache. And it's heavy to always take this all dirty laundry up and down 3 times. So check that with your landlord when you're having your in-house unit viewing. And another thing why you have to ask it, sometimes you can see those apartments that have very cheap price, like something unusual about them, and you're like, oh my god, it looks good area and price is nice. And then you go there and then they say, oh, there is no in-suite laundry and there is no even laundry facility in the building. You have to go to laundromat that is very close to the building, very close. It's fine. It's not fine. I'm just telling you up front, it's not fine. You won't like it. Better to rent apartment that will be 100 more expensive, but get as minimum in like laundry facilities inside the building, or at least, like, not at least, but like luxury. It's a luxury here to get it inside your unit. Mistake number 7, not asking about parking spot and how much it costs. Always ask about parking spot and its availability if you have a car or you're planning to get a car in future. 99%, I'm telling you that if you're renting in the building, like a condo, you are gonna pay for parking. If either it's covered parking or it's a parking spot in the garage. And the price for parking spot starts from $50 up to $150, depending on the area, the building, and city you are renting the apartment. That's another plus perk for the house unit, because usually when you're renting in the house unit, they have driveways. It's kind of included in the price of the rent. However, I had once a very greedy landlord. I didn't have hers, thanks God. But I was viewing an apartment in her house. And imagine she has like a huge backyard for like 4 or 5 cars. She was charging every tenant that lives in her house $55 for the driveway. Always ask, even if it's a house unit, oh, can I park the car here? Can I use the driveway? Because Sometimes you can be surprised. They can say, no, you have to pay extra for it. If I had to pick one biggest mistake that cost us a lot of money, it would be mistake number 2, heat and source. So now I have like a trauma. Every time when I even want to plan a viewing, I'm always like, hey, can you tell me the source of heating? Because I don't want to be stuck again to pay $400 per month for electricity bill. So if you found this video interesting, useful, subscribe to my channel, like the video, share it with somebody who would be interested or will find it useful as well, and stay tuned for more videos on immigration, life, careers in Canada, and life overall. See ya!